Do I need to make GST HST installments? We get this question a lot, so we're hoping to answer that for you here today. The basic rule is that if you owe over $3,000 in GST HST in a fiscal year, you will be required to make installments for the next fiscal year. An asterisk to that is that even if your net tax is less than $3,000 for your first fiscal year, you may have to make installment payments in your second fiscal year. And this might be the case if you're an annual filer and your first year as a GST HST registrant was shorter than 12 months because they base it on a 12-month basis. So if you have just incorporated, you want to take your net tax for that for the year you're reporting, divide it by the number of days you were registered for that fiscal year, and then multiply that by 365. If that amount is over $3,000, then you would have to. But the general rule, if you've been in business for a while, is that if you over 3,000 in 1 year, the next year you will be required to make installments. Okay, but the Canada Revenue Agency will let me know, right? Unfortunately, no, you will not receive a notice requirement installment or a calculation. The most you will see is on your notice of assessment. They will have this write up, and they'll have it on all of them. It just does say if your net tax for the previous fiscal year was $3,000 or more and your net tax for this fiscal year will be $3,000 or more, you will need to make quarterly installment payments this year. So it will not warn you. If you are an annual filer, you do have to be aware of this, as many people are not aware until they get an interest or a penalty charge. So make sure you are aware and are making those installments. Okay, so how do I calculate it? Well, what you're going to do, we recommend using the online CRA tool. So you're going to log into your CRA My Business account, and then you're going to navigate to the GST area that we show here, and you are going to click the RT0001 that is highlighted right there on your screen, and you will click in from the CRA My Business account into your GST program area. Once you're in, you're going to see it says calculate and pay installment payments, and you're going to want to click on that. On the next screen, it will ask you to check off the disclaimer, so you'll have to click I agree before you go into the tool. How to calculate the installments. So it will confirm the next period that you are calculating installments for. So you're going to click next. You're going to add the estimated tax for the period ending for your fiscal year end. Note, you are estimating this amount. So you're estimating next year's taxes owing. If you haven't filed last year's taxes, you'll actually have to put in that as well, or if it hasn't assessed it, the tool will automatically grab the most recent filing. But if you haven't actually filed, say for example, you want to estimate your 2025 installments, but you haven't, your 2024 return hasn't yet been assessed, it won't grab that amount for you, and you might actually be asked for both. So you'll want to put in both. If you don't know what 2025, if you're budgeting, you project 2025 to be higher, you can put that in. If you're projecting 2025 to be lower, you just want to do so with caution, because the way this CRA interest and penalties works around installments is you have to do the lesser of the previous year's taxes owing and the current year. So you are able to reduce your taxes if you're having a tougher year, but you just want to do so with caution, because all of a sudden if you have a really good end of the year and then that brings it up over, you might end up still owing interest on those calculations, because maybe you didn't keep up with installments through the year thinking you weren't going to have a good year, but then it ended up being a better year type of thing. All right. So just reduce with caution. I usually recommend at least starting using those prior period figures, and then around the biannual, you can kind of do an assessment and say, okay, could we possibly for the second half of the year lower these installments? So you want to follow the schedule provided to you. It will be provided on a quarterly basis based on your year end. So the following is an example of a company with a July 31st year end. It has, a November and a February, a May, and a August deadline on the installments. If you have a December 31st year end, you'll get a March and a June and a September and a December installment. So it does depend on when your year is for your installments. And that is and this is again all based for your GST HST installment requirements based on your year end. And that takes us through this GST HST questions. If you have any additional questions or comments or clarifications, please comment on this video. Thanks and have a great day.